Hello. So today is day 5 of my IVF dosing, and I didn't film the first 5 days because it's a lot to get used to. I wanted to make sure I was fully comfortable with it before I started filming myself doing it. So today's day 5. So I'm just now in a place where I'm like, okay, this is happening. It's a lot every day, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. So it's about 6:40 or so on day 5 of my IVF, active IVF injections for the egg retrieval. Thought Pete would be here by now, but I don't think he is. Daddy's running a little late, so I'm gonna get started without him, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm gonna position the camera and bear with me. Alright, now I do want to try to find the best angle to do this, so I'm just gonna get started and you guys can watch. So as you can tell, my stomach is very swollen. The eggs are actually getting much larger as the days go on. I'm getting blood work, as you can tell, on my arm here. So I'm getting blood work and an ultrasound every other day. So my stomach is very large, and for now I'm going to just kind of prepare. I'll try to talk you through it as I'm kind of doing it. So the very first 2 medications that I have to do, and I've been doing this since November honestly, are insulin, something called Lantus. So I'm just cleaning it now with an alcohol wipe. So I have Lantus, and this is for diabetes maintenance and insulin control, so it's just a Lantus pen. So it's very simple, clean. You have your needle. I mean, you should always try to clean the ends of the caps off, but you know, that's what it is. So again, I don't have the best angles, but I'm going to try my best here. So I wind it to 15 units, which is what I take once every night. Take the cap off. And I'm just going to administer this needle. Sometimes the Lantus does burn going in. I can't do more than about 15 units per vial because it does burn a little bit. The quicker you do it, the better it will be. So I will make sure my skin is still clean. So that's the first of the diabetes medicines. Next I have one called the Humalog, and I do 4 units of this every night, usually before your meal or around your meal time. So 4 units, and again I've been doing this one since November as well. So I found out actually during my IVF journey. Actually, I found out in November, so I had surgery last February of 2020, right before kind of COVID started. Give myself my 4 units. I had a surgery the last month before COVID kind of came about. Okay. And then COVID happened, so it slowed the IVF process down, and the surgery was on my right ovary, so it slowed down the whole IVF process, in addition to COVID slowing it down. So surgery slowed it down, COVID slowed it down. So long story short, in November I get a message. I get woken up out of the middle of sleep, and it's the fertility doctor saying, oh my god, call your primary care doctor, your sugar or A1C is like 11 point something, 11.4 I think. So I immediately started taking Lantus and Humalog every evening via the endocrinologist that I had to see to get cleared to start the IVF process. So it was a lot of work. I also had to go to the MS clinic as well to get cleared. So now we kind of did my daily stuff. So when you're doing IVF, you kind of want to rotate in a circle around this area when you're giving your shots. So 2 days ago I gave it myself here. Yesterday we did over here. So today for them, I'm probably going to pick a spot down here for the other 2 injections. And then tomorrow starts a new regimen, and it actually It's a little bit more invasive tomorrow, so we'll just film today for now, one day at a time. Again, this is just day 5, so this is actually when I finally start feeling comfortable doing this. And I work with blood and needles for a living, so it's a lot to take in at one time, even as a healthcare professional and a doctor. So if you're feeling lost, I'm right there with you still, believe me. So now I'm getting this is called Folliston, and this is one of the, I guess the first official medication you'll start when you start boosting your ova or your eggs for prior to egg retrieval. So I'm into the business of you can never be clean enough, so I'm constantly cleaning myself with new alcohol wipes. You know, everyone is their own human being, so do what you see fit. But I'm going to show you how the Folliston is ingested. So I'm just going to clean off under my belly. And again, I kind of work in a circle around my belly button every night. So tonight I'm going to do them down here. So bear with me here for a little bit. We have our Folliston. Again, I like to clean the end of this. This one I take 300 units. And there's about 3 doses per pen. Each pen is 900 units. So I take 300, you get 3 nights out of it. Kind of works well. So you wind this little dial with 300. Perfect. It's a different needle to use with this one than we use with the other 2 injections that I just gave myself. This needle is given at more of a 90-degree angle. The other 2 are more at a 45-degree angle. So take that off, take the needle off, and grab a nice chunk of skin and just and that's that. It's a lot of medication. It's a longer needle than the first. If you need to, when you're done giving yourself the injection, put some pressure on your stomach, just for a little bit. Just leave some pressure on it. Make sure the medicine really gets in there. You can have your needle on the end for now. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So pick your battles. Make sure you cater to your safety first while you're doing this. Always have your biohazard available. And maybe it's important to kind of show you guys my setup as well. So I'll show you my table in front of me in a second. It's a lot of stuff, so make sure you have a nice area to clean up. Kind of show you what's the rundown over here. So now I applied some pressure. Like I said, a little bit bigger of a needle, so I'm going to give it a little bit of cushion. I'm just going to recap this and keep the cap. You could swivel it off and throw this right into the biohazard bin. Put the cap back on. So, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like right now. There's still one more to do. So this is kind of what the table looks like right now. There we go. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So I'll explain what I'm doing. Then this next one's a lot easier to show you as I'm kind of going about the process. So I did 3. So like I said, I did the Humalog, the Lantus, and the Folliston. So those are those 3. It's hard to kind of sit up straight, so bear with me here while I maneuver around. Little belly hanging over there. Okay, so you want to make sure you're going to get 2 vials. One of them is just your simple, I apologize. One of them is truly just your simple saline sodium chloride solution. The other one is called Menopure. Tomorrow I start 2 vials of this, so that will be day 6, but for tonight, still just 1 vial, so that's pretty cool. So, my hands are not as sturdy as I'd like them to be today. So, I'm going to take a large syringe, and then a smaller needle. up this bag. Supplies are going to be included in that big shipment that you get from your fertility doctor. However, I still paid about almost $900 just for what you see here in front of us. So you can kind of get an idea. So you take your sterile syringe. You want to take the cap off. Well, pop your caps of these off here. Pop your little caps. You're going to make sure you're cleaning. Clean them with an alcohol wipe. Okay. You want to take your needle off, pull it back about a 1/2 inch. I'm sorry, 1 milliliter. Okay. And then, my hand down. It's so great today. So, stick it into the saline. And then you want to push that air into the vial. And then, all you really have to see is the tip. Then you want to pull it back a milliliter to collect a nice level milliliter of the simple saline. Pull that back, try to get what you can. Perfect. It's about right. It's about a milliliter. Alright, so then I'm just going to pop it off. I'm going to use the same syringe and I'm going to stick it into the menopur. I'm sorry, I kind of want to make sure I get that drip. Always make sure before you stick it into the medicine you get that drip and the air bubbles out. So you want to look for that one drop that comes out and down the needle. Alright, so I'm going to stick it in the menopur. And then while you are plunging the liquid from the saline, kind of do a circular motion and just kind of, just like this. It helps to mix the medicine and the vial together. So you're pushing the plunger down and you're mixing at the same time. Just like so. Alright. So it looks nice. It's a nice clear consistency. So I'm going to pull this out. Okay. Got everything about it. That's about right. So, recapping the needle for these particular needles, I don't recommend recapping, but if you do this one, slide it from the tabletop and then push it down. Okay, so we have this. I'm going to wipe the top again just to make sure it's not contaminated, and I'm going to start throwing things away just to clean up. Giving the menopur vial, I kind of like things to be a little bit more organized. It does involve reconstituting some medicine, which is probably new for a lot of people, but it's okay. You'll get through it. Just go from the. You can either start with the hardest solution or dose, whatever's easier for you. Start with the hardest or the easiest first, whatever you can deal with. As you can tell, I'm already about 3 vials or 3 medications into this now, so I'm starting my last one, and this is the menopur. So again, this is day 5. So let's get to it. I'm going to take another alcohol wipe and I'm going to just place it here to get it nice, get it clean. I'm going to clean the top of this again. And I'm going to get rid of this old needle that's on that same syringe and replace it with just a smaller needle. Well, actually, no, I lied. Put the big one back on. Alright, I actually want to step ahead of myself. Pull your plunger down to a milliliter. I apologize. Put it back into your menopur. So I actually don't recap your needle. My apologies. Now we are going to stick this into the menopur. So, you know, to push the air in. And then I'm going to pull back and get a nice medicure. I'm going to get about a milliliter again. Make sure you don't want to get any air bubbles, and you just want to make sure that stuff comes out. So, medicine that you can. A little bit more. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more if I do it properly. The first few days, my mood was actually really great. Last night I noticed some cramping. I guess my follicles are getting bigger, so that's a good thing. Alright, so I'm just going to pull the needle out. I'm going to, again, look for that little drop at the top, push the plunger upward, wait for the drop at the top, there we go. Get our drop, and then make sure we get that. Okay, so now I'm going to recap this bad boy. So our plunger is kind of loaded, locked and loaded, and I can just take the old needle off, and we still have the medicine in old needle, and we have our medicine. So I'm going to throw the old needle away. And now we are going to get our smaller needle. So this is the one that actually goes in your skin, and it's probably a lot more comfortable than having to go into the skin with that larger needle. So you just cop it on. And again, the diameter is a lot smaller to deliver about a milliliter of medication. So now that I have and it's all right if you're still bleeding a little bit at the bottom. I have been sitting upright, so I'm gonna kind of set it back towards me again. So I've been sitting upright. I am still bleeding a little bit down here, but the blood drop kind of dried. You probably see it right here, but well, whatever the case may be, we must proceed. So this is what we do. So now I'm going to take another clean alcohol wipe, and we're going in a circular motion around my stomach. Mind you, so I'm staying still at the bottom of my stomach today. So I'll go here tomorrow, there the next day, and then back down here again. So let your alcohol dry as well. Yeah, it hurts. I draw blood for a living. I've been drawing blood for 17 years. So let your alcohol dry. And I'm working on myself, so I'm not using gloves, but if I was with a patient, I would be using gloves. But I did wash my hands before this. I do have hand sanitizer here, and then I also have lots of alcohol wipes. So I stay sterile for myself, but yeah, do what makes you feel best. If I was assisting somebody else, obviously I'd be wearing gloves. Okay, so we have our preloaded syringe now. We mixed our Menopur. You want to make sure you take it out of the refrigerator. All of this medication is refrigerated. You want to make sure you take it out of the fridge about an hour to bring it to room temperature. So we will proceed. Take the top off your needle. Okay, and then again, you still want to just kind of, I always, with every syringe I give, I always like to just get that drop of blood at the top. So now I get a full delivery of medication. And I found it, so I'm gonna just pop that out. Get a nice clean sample, 45-degree angle, and go. These are all subcutaneous doses, so you give yourself the medicine. Okay. And then pull it back out. And you can set the needle aside and just allow yourself to have some pressure over the area. I want it to turn out like this guy. Should probably be laying flat doing this, but again, we pick our battles. So yeah, so those are the 4 shots. It's a lot of steps involved. It is overwhelming, but I like to try to, I guess, make it as user-friendly as possible. And I wanted to kind of explain the process as I go. Tomorrow, instead of having 1 vial of Menopur, I have 2 vials. So I will be mixing 2 of those vials in the syringe. That'll be interesting. And then I also get to add on a medicine called Ganirelix. So so I'll be taking, I guess it would be 2 milliliters now of the Menopur. 2 vials, 2 milliliters. I guess I can take it in the same syringe, but it might be a lot of liquid. You might want to give yourself 2. 2 different shots as opposed to just 2 milliliters in 1 syringe. I'm gonna try to do them both in 1 syringe. So yeah, do what you feel is necessary as long as you get your medicine. All right, so I'll take some pressure off of here. So I gave myself 2 over there, kind of out of the way, which is fine. And then so tomorrow we'll be working in this area. And this is honestly all of this extra skin. I used to be a lot heavier than what I am now, so I lost a lot of weight over time, but it has come back since starting these medicines as well, and a little bit of COVID, so bear with me. So with your dirty needle, just make sure you be careful recapping your needle. You know, always be careful recapping. Take your needle off. Sometimes you don't want to tie it too tightly either. I think that's my problem. But this is also a single-use syringe, so I could actually throw this whole thing away rather than struggling to take the needle off. So throw that away. I'll throw both of these old vials away. Get yourself a good biohazard bin. Come in ones full. Always make sure to just clean over the injection marks. Make sure I'm nice clean. All right. Throw all of my dirty, excuse me, I'll wipe my face. Paper towel. Throw all of my dirty stuff away. All right. And I'm done.